I've been doing some work restoring the front here, but as you can see over here, I've got a challenging job over on the left side here. Didn't have that problem on the right side. Over here on the left side of the car, I don't know why only on the left and not on the right, but on the left side we have much more severe damage. And what I have done is I have to remove this whole section all along here. And I was able to find that Anglo parts in Belgium and Kilmartin Automotive Sheet Metal in Australia both have a replacement section here that goes from here and comes down. And it comes with all the weld nuts already welded in. And that's really nice. I didn't want to have to build that entire piece myself. So it wasn't real cheap, but it was way cheaper than buying a whole inner side. And as you can see here, I have started working on removing the inner wing here, the inner fender, and the front clip which comes down over here. A lot of rod in here, but it's solid above it. And it's solid back here. It's just the front is really bad. They're attached by a continuation of this piece. This is actually another piece. And it welds on the inside, connecting the inner fender here to the clip. The clip normally bends over here, and this other piece goes up inside here and inside here and welds to them, spot welds to them. And that's what holds the captive weld nuts for attaching the fender. So I am replacing that entire section. And once I get it out, you can see that the front is already getting pretty loose because it's starting to get detached. Same thing on the other side. Got quite a bit of flexibility in this. This will allow me to get the new section of duct panel in there much more easily than if this stuff was solid. And once the duct panel goes in and welds everything together, plus the side repairs, then we should have a much solider front end and no more rot. Right now, it's a project. Sitting on the tire is the replacement part that I'm working to fit, and you can see above it where I'm making progress, but I'm not ready because I've still got a bunch of stuff down there in the front of the clip to get out before I can attempt to fit this piece in. So that's going to be a good challenge. Here's a view of progress so far. Getting ready to put in the connecting piece between the inner fender, connecting piece that I got from Anglo parts in Belgium, and goes from the inner fender down here up to this part. I've left a couple of these little flimsy pieces of flange that are left on this side from the top of the shroud. And those are very useful, even though they're not very strong. They'll be replaced with new metal, but for now they're very useful for locating the replacement piece. What I'm doing right now is mostly on the inside here, a lot of cleanup preparatory to alignment and welding. Got a lot more to do on that inside for the duct panel and on the other side at the bottom. Notice also that everything over here is pretty movable. You can see my hand. Maybe you can see my hand. The shroud is pretty loose right now, and this inner fender moves in and out. This piece over here is connected to the mount inside that holds the hose that delivers air to the carburetors. And this piece over here is the cross member that holds the latch for holding the bonnet down. There's a piece that's welded to this that normally bends up here holds a weld nut and attaches to this replacement piece here. Since my replacement piece comes with a weld nut already welded onto it, I'm going to have to cut this old one out of here and make a new bracket that will weld to the existing piece and have to go around the weld nut that's already there on the repair piece. So that'll be a little bit of a improvised fix for that. Here's the completed welded side piece that connects the inner fender to the top of the shroud. That's all been welded into the inner fender, and I have cut away the top part of the shroud that was all rotted, and I've made a replacement piece over there. It took me several hours to fashion it. These slots cut in here will be welded shut there on the side of the car, which is inside the fender, so you can't see it anyway. They allow it to bend like this to match the bend of the shroud like that. In addition, when you look down on the shroud, you notice that it actually curves like this. So we've got compound bends all over the place. The bend up this way is not 90 degrees. The bend goes in like this, and it bends down like that. So I wasn't sure if I could do this all in one piece. I've seen some other guys do it in multiple pieces, but I gave it a shot, and it's so far fitting very well. The copper has already been fitted behind it, and slots have been cut into the copper like that. And this one here, I needed two pieces. They are going to back up this surface here. Butt weld clamps going from the good shroud to the replacement piece. This goes up in here like this, with butt clamps crossing these two spots. I'll show you when it's clamped ready for welding. Here's the left side shroud patch number 1, clamped into position with butt weld clamps, and as you can see, there's copper back up behind it, and we're going to be welding that next. Here is the front shroud repair piece welded and partially ground down. Got a really good fit. Flanges bend over. I filled in the slots between them so it looks more original. Down here on the bottom part, I tried to make one additional piece that would fit the rest of the shroud, but I couldn't get it to fit, so I cut it in half. That gave me more flexibility, and now I've got that pretty much ready to go. I've got them clamped in for trial clamping here. 2 pieces. Copper behind this one right now. This one not yet backed up with copper, but I'm going to weld this one, then I'm going to move the copper down. And before I do that, of course, I'm going to do a lot more cleanup on the edge over here, above and below, on the old metal. But got a really nice fit down here. Got a proper gap for butt welding, and I'm expecting a good result from this. This is the top of the shroud, butt welded in place in 3 sections. 1 up here, and 2 as the curves got sharper down here. Over here you can see I haven't cleaned up these welds. First I butt welded the shroud, cutting out the bad part of the shroud. This part was already bent over. Then in order to match this angle, I cut grooves in the piece on this part, but not on the surface that's going to be visible, and that allowed me to follow the curvature quite well without any resistance from the metal springing back. Then after everything was welded in there, I spotted spots on these little tabs, and then I welded the tabs closed, just for appearance really. Now it's a little extra security, but it's really on there very solid. Haven't quite finished grinding it, but considering how rotted it was all along here in the past, and all under here was all rotted. Now that is totally solid, and with a little bit of filler, more grinding on top, I think we're going to have a good result. Way better than the way it was. Here's the current status of the lower part of the shroud repair. Welds have been ground down, and gaps in here for allowing me to bend it have been filled in with weld.